Welcome back to another Spinato Spin. So delighted to have you here tonight. It's awesome. Happy Thanksgiving. Glad you rolled out and showed up for this one. This is going to be a good one, folks. We want to cover some real important ground here. We want you to walk away after we're done talking and feel good about yourself, but at the same time, come together with some ideas on what you are going to do and how you're going to carry your life forward from this point on. I'm going to ask you one simple question here to get the ball rolling. Are you living your life right now to be efficient or to be effective? Now that's an interesting question, because how do you define what's being efficient versus what's being effective? What's the difference? Well, efficient means you're doing things right. That's a big one. You're doing things right. That's good. But here's the better question. And there it is right there, effective and efficient. Well, the bottom line is, if you're being effective, that means you're doing the right things. Here's what it comes down to, folks. We were put here, and we're all put here for a purpose. Have you identified what your purpose is? Have you said to yourself, you know, I was put here to do this, and I'm going to do this the best I possibly can? What's your purpose? You ever have a conversation with somebody, and not to be like a smart ass or anything, they say to you, well, what's your purpose? Well, what is your purpose? Why are you here? What are you going to make out of your life? You know, you only get so many Thanksgivings, you only get so many Christmases. That's all you get. And the purpose now is to identify why you are here. You got to feel good about it. Why do you do what you do? Why do you spend your time what you're doing? Does it make you totally happy? You know, one thing that came across my information over the past 2 or 3 days here is the medical study done by the Massachusetts State Attorney General. And what they said basically was that the persons that die on their first heart attack before the age of 50 had one common denominator. And you know what? They ruled out a lot of things. They ruled out genetics. They ruled out too much cholesterol. They ruled all that out. You know what the reason was? That they decided what the main reason was why people die from their first heart attack? It was because they didn't like their job. They didn't like the grind. They didn't like being there day in, day out. And what happened was, it didn't give them a reason to go forward. It didn't give them a reason to fight, to keep themselves going. They just said, okay, cut out the lights, and that was the end of them. That is so sad, folks, that people have put themselves in that position. I want to get across to you, I want to get across to everybody who's out there, is your life has to have a purpose. You have to have a reason. Let me ask you this question too. I heard this the other day too. I just keep my ears and eyes open for great insight and things that are important towards helping other people. Let me ask you this question. Do you roll out of bed in the morning, or do you jump out of bed? Which one is it? Do you roll out of bed, okay, you know, good God, it's morning, or good God, it's morning? Do you have that attitude? What is it? What drives you? What gets you going? What are you going to make out of your life? You know, down the road, they're going to say something about you, and what they're going to do is they're going to put it on your tombstone. And they're going to say, well, he was a good gal, he was a good person, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, how about the people that did something exceptional because they did what they were here for? They identified their purpose and they went at it. That's what we're looking for, right? We want to have a life in which people said, man, he lived for something. He had a purpose, and he did it the right way, and he was good at it because he loved it. You know, crusaders die hard. I don't know if you ever heard that one before either. Well, if you're a crusader for something and you believe in something, you're going to be a lot more effective than anyone else that comes close. You know, they say a simple thing to remember. You know, you beat 50% of all the people by just working hard. You could beat all 50% of them by just working hard. But if you find something you believe in, you'll beat 90% of them. So it's work hard, live right, find something you believe in. You know, you work hard, live right, find something you believe in. The other 10% to get to the top or to be the best at what you do, you know, Mother Teresa, she didn't do it for money. She did it for a purpose. She wanted to help other people because they needed it. Well, the bottom line, the other 10% is just a dogfight. You just got to want that little bit of an edge. You just got to want it a little more than the other person. And that comes from loving it. That comes from having a passion. That comes from having that no reason to go back. We got to go forward. We got to keep going. And, you know, you think about this country. Thanksgiving's a pretty important day. You know, Independence Day, Thanksgiving. It's all about the founding fathers, isn't it? It's all about the pilgrims that came forward all the way across the water in those rickety boats to try to find the new world. Well, all those people, I hate to say it, folks, but all those people had a purpose. They came to find a new country. They wanted to live a different life. Well, where are you? Are you coming across mentally in your mind where you're going to be and why you want to go there? I mean, when they booked the passage on those boats, folks, they had a purpose. They wanted to do something incredible with their lives, and they wanted to get things better. They wanted to improve. Maybe that was their passion. Maybe they just wanted to build another life for their people that were following after them. Maybe they want to build another life for the future generations and what they thought in their mind, in their thoughts and their goals. That's what you got to have. You got to have a dream. You got to have a reason for doing it. You know, they say, well, you know, determination is one small part, but it's discipline. It's every day. You got to love it. You got to want it more than anything else. That's what you want. You want to have that type of fire and desire, don't you? That's what we're trying to accomplish here. It's hard to do it with no audience, no crowd, nothing pushing me forward, but I just felt I had to say it today. I believe this is our time. I believe this is where we ought to stand and what we ought to fight for. Ought to help one another find their purpose. If you can't do anything else for anybody else, after you find your purpose, you find yours. You know, find your purpose. Help somebody find a purpose. That can go so far. You know, they don't teach this in school. They don't let you open up your mind and find out what you're going to be all about. They just teach you how to be efficient. You don't want to be efficient. You want to be effective. You know, there's a book out there, and I'll give you a little quick look at it right now, Highly Effective People. 7 things that they talk about, 7 highly effective habits of highly effective people. I think I got it up there on the screen. There it is. The 7th habit is one thing, and I'll go over it here. We'll kind of get out of it once we're done with this, is sharpening the saw. You know, years ago, we'll go all the way back to Ben Franklin because Abraham Lincoln came up with the same concept. They said Abraham Lincoln, and they also said Ben Franklin. You got 4 hours, Mr. Ben Franklin, to chop down a tree. What are you going to spend most of your time doing? Ben Franklin replied with this answer. He says, well, if you give me 4 hours to chop down a tree, you know what I'm going to do with 3 of those 4 hours? They said, what? He said, I'm going to sharpen that saw. I'm going to sharpen that saw. If you gave Abraham Lincoln 6 hours, 4 of those hours he would have spent sharpening the saw and sharpening the axe. Why? What does that really mean? What does sharpening the saw mean? Sharpening the saw means getting better in 4 basic areas of your life. Sharpening your saw means all the gifts, all the things that you can do to help yourself to get better at. You just keep working on them. You just keep sharpening that saw. And the more you understand about how to improve yourself, the better life will be for you. The more you work on getting better and better every day, the better it'll improve you. We have a couple other pictures up there. I just want to give you some more of a visual on what we're talking about tonight. Hey, can you flash them up there, Bruce? There's no more pictures. Well, that's okay. Just picture in your mind's eye a saw, picture in your mind's eye a tree getting chopped by a dull saw. And if that's your life, that's not good. But picture your life this way, with a saw, with an axe that's incredibly sharp, and when you take a whack at that tree, you cut deep into it. That's what your life's got to be, folks. You got to have a purpose, and that purpose is going to make you effective. And that's the way it goes. And always remember one other thing, too, from Jim Rohn. He said, if you want to make money, always remember that profits are better than wages. Keep that in mind. Folks, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and thanks a lot for tuning in with the Spinato Spin tonight.